Have you ever wanted to create stunning kinetic type animations in After Effects that are fully customizable with just a few sliders? In this tutorial, I'll guide you step by step to build a system that's not only easy to animate, but also endlessly creative. By the end, you will have a fully looping animation that looks professional and polished. Let's get started by setting up the foundation for our animation. First, create a new composition. I'll name mine Kinetic type. Set it to 1080 by 1080 at 30 frames per second and a duration of 10 seconds. Perfect. Next, we'll add a black solid as our background. Then grab the type tool and write your first letter or symbol. Make it nice and big, so it stands out. Select the background and text layers, right-click, and choose Pre-compose and name it. Then let's scale this pre-comp down to something like 25%. Now, let's give it some style. Right-click again, go to Layer Styles, and add a stroke. Change the stroke color to white and increase the size to around 10. Time to set up the control center for our animation. Right-click in the timeline, choose New, Null Object and name it Controller. Then go to Effects, Expression Controls, add a slider control and duplicate. Rename the first one Distance and the second one Skew. Then before we leave, lock this Effects tab for easy access. Now click on the pre-comp and reveal the position property of your text layer. Enable the expression editor and paste this code. This expression distributes layers horizontally, based on their index, spacing them evenly around the composition center. And the slider control on the null adjusts the spread dynamically. Still with the pre-comp selected, add a transform effect, go to Effects, Distort and select Transform. Then on the skew property of the transform effect, hold Alt and click the stopwatch to open the expression editor. Then link it to the skew slider on the null controller. And this allows us to control the slant of our text dynamically. Now comes the fun part. Duplicating and customizing our pre-comps to create unique letters or symbols for the animation. First, let's duplicate the pre-comp layer in the timeline. Just select it and press Ctrl or Command D to duplicate it. Do this as many times as you need for the different letters or symbols you want to animate. Don't forget to rename each duplicate to keep everything organized, something like letter 02, letter 03, and so on. Staying organized now will save you a lot of headaches later. Next, let's customize each duplicate. Head over to the project panel, find the pre-comp you just duplicated, and duplicate it again. This creates a new version of the comp file itself. Open each new comp, replace the letter or symbol, and make any adjustments you need. If the first one was an A, change this one to a B. You can tweak the size or font, but keep the style consistent, so everything flows nicely. Now let's replace the placeholder pre-comps in the timeline with our customized versions. This part's quick and super satisfying. Select the pre-comp you want to replace in the timeline, then go to the project panel and find the corresponding new comp. Hold down Alt or Option on a Mac, drag the new comp and drop it onto the old one in the timeline. Boom! It's swapped out perfectly, and all your expressions and settings stay intact. It's like magic. Repeat this process for all the placeholders in the timeline, until each layer has its own unique letter or symbol. When you're done, give everything a quick preview. Look at that, it's all coming together beautifully. By the way, if you enjoyed this tutorial and find it helpful, please consider supporting me on my Buy Me a Coffee page. For just $1, you get access to scripts that will improve your workflow and working files like the one from this tutorial. And your support really means a lot to me. It helps me continue creating content like this. So yeah, think about it. So let's go back to the tutorial. And with that, our setup is complete. Now we're ready to bring these layers to life with some smooth, dynamic animation. Let's dive in. Select the control sliders on our controller null and mark a keyframe for both the distance and skew sliders at the very beginning of the timeline. Then move the timeline needle to 1 second and 15 frames and adjust the distance slider to a negative value that makes your visual look nice. And the skew slider to -20. That's our first big move. From here, move the needle to 3 seconds and simply copy and paste the keyframes you just created. Easy, right? Now slide the needle to 4 seconds and 15 frames and flip those values. This keeps the animation symmetrical and dynamic. Keep it going. Copy these keyframes again. Move the needle to 6 seconds and paste them. Finally, bring the needle to 7 seconds and 15 frames and paste the very first keyframes here. This creates a seamless loop that ties everything together perfectly. But we're not done yet. Select all the keyframes, open the graph editor, and adjust the animation curves to give the motion some flair. Smooth out those transitions to make the movement feel dynamic and professional. Once you're happy with the curves, give it a preview. And there it is, a looping kinetic animation that's clean, fluid, and ready to impress. Now, you might notice that when the text boxes move to the right side, the text flips and looks inverted. No worries, we can fix that really quickly. Scrub through the timeline to find a point where all the layers overlap, making it easier to spot the flipped text. Once you've found it, dive into the affected text pre-comp and simply swap out the letter with the correct one for that side. Repeat this for any other layers that need adjusting. It's a quick fix. And once you're done, just preview the animation again to make sure everything looks perfect. And there you have it. Your kinetic type animation is complete. With just a few sliders, we've built a fully customizable system that's as versatile as it is professional. Each layer comes to life, seamlessly looping in a polished, dynamic way. But don't stop here. This setup is just the beginning of what you can create. Experiment with different letters, symbols, or even add unique effects to take your animation to the next level. The possibilities are endless when you have a system this flexible. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and again, please consider supporting me on my Buy Me a Coffee page. As I said before, for just $1 you get access to this working file from this tutorial and many others, including scripts that will improve your workflow dramatically. So yeah, it's a good deal, trust me. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, a great life, and I'll see you in the next one.